Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Hello there. It's Margaret Sample coming to you live from the beautiful Niagara region of Ontario in Canada. I look this way because that's where my window is, and the sky is blue, and the trees are dancing in the wind today, and it's not snowing, which it did the last 2 days. So that's always an interesting weather event, it seems. Welcome to Fairy Friday. Almost every week, I bring you messages from the fairy folk using Brian Froud's beautiful fairy oracle deck. The book that goes along with that is Jessica Macbeth. Really very helpful. Sometimes I see your comments and sometimes I don't. But please do write them, and I always look for them afterwards. I also love those little thumbs up and hearts, and the personal messages just touch my heart. So thank you so much for all that beautiful feedback. How these work is if you are watching this video, whether you are seeing it live or whether you're watching it on replay, if this has come across your feed, then it is meant for you. The message is meant for you. So just seeing what's going on over here on my screen. I'm not seeing any comments, so either no one's here yet or it's I'm not seeing the comments. So anyway, that's what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards and see which fairy is coming forward with a message for us today. And sometimes they wait a while. Ah, that one jumped. Oh boy. Okay. This is kind of a hold on to your hat kind of guy. This is Gawtcha. So, Gawtcha is one of the fairy challengers. And the fairy challengers are the ones who come along to bring us face to face with our fears. There are, all those things that we don't like, our inner traumas, our denials, all that stuff, bringing us face to face with those so we can deal with them. They are also testers, and they don't test us when we've learned the lesson and they're seeing, oh, have you learned that lesson? Okay, no. They set the test so that we learn as we go through the test. So that can feel very challenging. That's why they're called fairy challengers. And but they don't present them to us until they feel like we're able to handle them. Okay, so that's a good thing. Always hold on to that. And just try and get it right the first time. Which that's all we can do, right? We can just try our best. So, oh, gotcha. All here looking through things. Gotcha. Gotcha is about sudden shock, unexpected events, rude awakenings. He's sometimes called the out of the blue fairy, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, this has happened, or this, So he sometimes you just sort of feel like you've gotten blindsided, by the universe. It's often gotcha, going gotcha. Uh, when you get something like unexpected tax demand, or a tree falls on your car. That happened to me one time. Or a tree falls on your house. That just happened to a friend of mine. What? Blindsided. Whoa. It could be something pleasant, like a lottery win. That I also know people for whom that has happened. So it's like, though, it just totally shakes things up. And he uses shocks to teach us two things, basically, right? He teaches us how to learn to listen to, pay attention to our intuition and trust it, because he's tricksy that way, in that there will always be little hints ahead of the big kapowie if we only know how to look for them and pay attention to them. Okay, so that's one of the things that he's teaching to us. that he wants to teach us. And then the second major thing he wants to teach us is to learn how to roll with the punches. Now, when there are lessons we need to learn, or when there are experiences happening around us that are actually someone else's, but they're impacting us, we need to learn how to take what comes at us and learn what we can from it, and then regain our balance, so to speak, as quickly as possible, right? So that's why I say roll with the punches. Things happen and we can't always control them. We can't always get out of their way. And we don't always have a choice about them. So we need to learn how to deal. Okay. How to take stuff in our stride and not get completely lost or overwhelmed by it. So here's a for example. For example, if you are walking along a beach at the ocean and it's just beautiful and you're in the water and you go in for a swim and you get caught in a riptide. Well, you haven't done that on purpose. If you knew how to pay attention to the patterns in the water, you would know where to avoid. But most of us don't remember that, or aren't conscious of it because we're looking at the sky or whatever. So then you're in this riptide and it's pulling you out to the ocean. Well, it's shocking. And you also have to, how do you deal with it? You don't fight against it or you're going to get exhausted. You don't give up or you're going to end up in the middle of the ocean somewhere. You have to swim over towards the edge, to swim sideways so that you can get out of the riptide. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's correct. But you better look it up if you're going to go to an ocean. And there are things where you can see what a riptide looks like, actually. Anyway, but that's the kind of the thing, right? I remember hearing one time, and I have no idea if this is true, but if an avalanche is coming, what you want to try to do is swim up, always swim up to the top of the snow, because you can't fight an avalanche. It's coming. So how, roll with the punches, roll with the punches, roll with the punches, right? Gawtcha knows that we humans, for the most part, we like to build nice, sturdy, rigid structures in our minds, in our lives. And he also knows these are not always good for us. They can lead to stagnation, and fairies always insist on growth. That's, one of the big things about the fairy world is, how can things grow? How can we help them grow, right? Whether it's plants, whether it's people, and how are they doing it, right? So to help us along, Gawtcha will deliver these sudden surprises. And when he appears, you may well be in for a breakdown of existing habits, patterns, or attitudes. So when sometimes we become too tightly confined by our own self-imposed limitations, including the desire for comfort and security, Gawtcha will kindly break the structure restraining us, and this might not feel good. So it can be very discombobulating, right? But always remember that breakdown can lead to breakthrough if we let it. So if it's come to the point and we've ignored the little hints and we haven't looked at whatever, then the kaplowy happens, then how do we deal, right? Because it's really, in a sense, it may not feel comfortable, but it's still liberation. It's liberating us from the confines of what we are used to, in a way. So we can feel confused, disoriented, lost, and we need to search for a way forward. Okay, so it's not like, you look at all these broken pieces, like when the tree fell on my car. It wasn't like I could sort of go, oh, okay, let me hammer this back and plug that light back in. No, we had to take away and put new pieces and to go forward. right? So you don't want to try to recreate what was, but to create something better. So whatever part of your life this kaplowy may be happening in, what how can you envision it in a way that's better than ever and is kind of more how you might, oh, this gives me opportunity, and always leave space for growth so that you don't have to have another kaplawi happen, but that you can go, okay, I've set within this thing, I've set room for growth. Okay. Now, on the other hand, if you're feeling stuck, or you're caught in that swamp of boredom and misery and pain, in that state of stagnation, if you're feeling like that, perhaps it might be time for you to take some action and be proactive before Gawtcha comes along and does it for you. Because you'll go, oh, poor you, you're feeling all stuck. Let me help you. Whereas we can go, okay, what can I change? What can I, and often it's a sacrifice or a releasing of old beliefs or attitudes or actions that no longer serve us. What can I change to move out of this, to go forward? Again, he's like, if you don't, I can come and help you. But he's not subtle. He is never subtle. Okay? So it may feel like you have to sacrifice something or give up something to go forward. But that's sometimes what we need to do, is to let go of something for something better to come in. And it's always nice when we can do it on our own terms, right? But Gotcha's here to say, hey guys, pay attention to all this. Pay attention. Because what did I say at the beginning, right? Sudden shocks, unexpected events, and rude awakenings, he will give them to us. So, anything else? He's like, hey, things are happening. And, all around us, things are happening. So pay attention to your own intuitive flashes and look for ways that you can best deal with, roll with the changes that are thrust upon you sometimes. Where can you proactively make some changes so you don't have Gawtcha doing that? Because he's really happy to just go off and have a brew with his fairy buddies, rather than shock us. But sometimes he likes to shock us. So be prepared, pay attention to your intuition, and know that you have the ability to deal with these things, learn from them, and move forward in a better direction. Okay. I miss seeing the comments today. I'm so sorry. My computer, for whatever reason, it's not showing them. So I will look for them afterwards, guys. And I want to thank you for watching live or on replay. And I look forward to seeing you another time. Have a very happy Fairy Friday. Gawtcha says, be on your toes. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Love to all. Bye.